I'm Joyce Fishman, creator of Carousel. I've spent 25 years behind the scenes in Cablevision's 3-camera studio. I press buttons so the camera's very best photos could be part of the broadcast's tape. This summer, I'm happy to be hosting because it's a special pleasure to introduce you to people I admire. Horizons is a student enrichment program offered free to low-income children. From kindergarten through high school, these youngsters are encouraged to plan on completing a college education. We have with us today Leah Kimmett, Director of Horizons, and Michelle Gennario, an alumnus and active member of the staff. Leah, tell us about the summer program at Horizons.
Well, the summer program at Horizons, it actually just started today, this morning. We are located on the New Canaan Country School campus, and we start at the very end of June and we run through all of July and into August. And we bring about 265 low-income families, primarily from Stamford and Norwalk. We bus them to campus every day, and we give them an incredible sort of hybrid of school and camp experience where they're doing academic enrichment, but also art and athletic enrichment on campus.
And Michelle, how did you get involved in Horizons?
I stepped on the Horizons campus in 1986 as a 7th grader. I was attending Dolan Middle School at the time, and I was so lucky to be there. And then I haven't left. I started in '88 on staff as an assistant teacher and have been there right to today.
That's great. So what are the programs? What are you going to have them do?
So our students, sort of starting in kindergarten, we really try to sort of offer them an assortment of experiences and opportunities that they might not have the opportunity to do. So we do lots of academics with them. We are certainly working on bridging the achievement gap that exists here in Connecticut. But it's very hands-on and project-based. We're very Dewey in our philosophy and approach to working with children. So if you walk into a Horizons classroom, you'll see children building rockets or creating solar-powered wind cars. The kids also go to many specialist classes woven into their schedules throughout the week. So they'll be at music, rehearsing for a musical that we do at the end of the summer. They go to art classes, they go to wood shop, technology. And a big hallmark of our program is that we teach all of our children how to swim. Most of our kids have never swam before coming to us, and they're actually really scared to be in the water. So to watch their sort of self-confidence grow and the trust in the pool that happens is really magical for us.
What special needs do these children have that you try to address?
So children come to us. We work with the schools, the social workers and guidance counselors at each of the public schools. We serve 64 schools. And the guidance counselors and social workers are recommending children to us who have wonderful attendance at school, but they really struggle academically. I'd say that most of our children are about a year to a year and a half behind, but they show a lot of potential and promise. And so we start with them in kindergarten and we work with them over the years. We kind of see ourselves as a slow bake model. And as we work with them over time, we see their academic skills progressing. We see interests in maybe some arts or hobbies start to emerge. And when they get into high school, we really start gearing towards college and the college process and getting them ready for it.
How do you manage to broaden their horizons? What magic do you use?
So, well, there's lots of different experiences that the kids have. So over the course of a week in our summer program, in addition to the amazing academic classes and the specials classes that we offer, we also take the kids on field trips once a week. And the field trips really range. So our 2nd graders might go horseback riding at New Canaan Mounted Troop, which is something they've never done before. Our 4th graders might head out on the schooner through the Sound Waters program and do some science investigations. A really big highlight of Horizons is that every summer, the last Wednesday of the program, we take over 160 students to see a Broadway show in New York City.
Oh, wow.
So there's sort of a range of things, many which our kids will say they've never done before. And over time, the kids talk about them, and they're things that they really, truly never forget and really sort of shape who they are and their interests.
Where does the funding come from?
So we have to raise to run Horizons because we are a full scholarship program. Our summer program is a K-8 program for 265 students, but we also have school year programming and a high school program. We raise about $1.5 to $1.6 million a year, and we have a staff that works on that. And we get our funding primarily from local foundations or individuals or local corporations. And we've been very lucky and fortunate to have 50 years of experience in the work that we do. And we have a wonderful backbone of success. So when we talk about the outcomes of our program and how every year for years and years upon years, we've had all of our students graduating from high school, 96% going on to college, and over 70% of them graduating in 4 years from college. We're so fortunate that people really believe in the work that we're doing and the students that they're helping, and they're part of our team and part of our community.
How do you help them qualify for college?
So there's sort of lots of different things that we do. Something that's been really fascinating to me is when I started working at Horizons full time, I had always assumed that children that were from low-income families who worked really hard in school and were very successful in their academic classes and who got scores that they needed on the SATs or the ACTs, that the funding would really come to them. And post-2008, that's a very different world to pay for college. So we work with kids on the selection of the schools that they're looking at. We certainly focus on many of the Connecticut state schools, which are very affordable options for our kids. But we're also looking at schools that diversity is something that they're really interested in, and they might have an endowment or reserved funds to be able to have students there. And so we, and when the college acceptance letters come in, we spend a lot of time talking to our kids about what that financial aid package looks like. What do you have to pay back? You know, what is a scholarship? And then we also help our families find funding for school. And the schools really range. You know, we have students that are at Brown University or at Princeton University or at Johnson & Wales, and we also have kids at UConn, Stanford, UConn Stores, and many students who are at Norwalk Community College or many other local places, and we celebrate each and every one of those and the accomplishments the kids have.
And how involved are the parents in this program?
The parents are very involved in the program. We have a parent council, and they're sort of a governing body of about 12 to 15 parents who are always working with us, working with the office about programming that we're doing and designing. They design parent workshops for other Horizons parents that really range from English second language classes to maybe computer literacy courses. They host different events for Horizons. They host a holiday party and movie night, and we're really in partnership with the parents. Like we're in partnership with the schools, but we're also in partnership with the parents. I really don't feel that anybody can do this work in isolation. We all need to be working together. Like it's a very successful puzzle in order to really get these kids where we hope they can go.
What would you say is your biggest problem?
Well,
More kids.
that's easy
We
to
wish we
answer.
could have more kids.
We wish we could have more kids, as Michelle said.
More kids.
We are really at capacity at New Canaan Country School on their campus. But when we're going through the admissions process, we have hundreds upon hundreds of applications of kids that are truly qualified candidates for the program, and we would love to be able to work with them. But we just can't. Our cafeteria is full, our swimming pools are full, we're really at max. And so we've been working pretty tirelessly to try to grow the program here in the local area. We're excited that Norwalk Community College is hosting a program this summer. The Brunswick School in Greenwich has launched a program this summer. And we're also located at Greens Farms Academy and Sacred Heart. We're all separate Horizons programs, but we work together as much as we can to be able to share best practices and what we've learned in our 50 years of working with children.
And how does the community help the program?
In many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's supporting our kids with opportunities like New Canaan Mounted Troop hosting our kids to be able to come and horseback ride on their campus. Our swim program is quite extraordinary. And we do have a pool on campus where our kids are learning to swim during the day. But in the afternoon, starting at about 1:45, our entire population of students and staff, which is over 300 people, head out to donated New Canaan Families residential pools to swim in the afternoons. And a wonderful gift of those families to give our kids the opportunity and access to that. We also have a group of tireless volunteers behind the scenes who are running events for Horizons, doing fundraising for Horizons, doing PR for Horizons to sort of keep the whole nonprofit afloat and running effectively.
And what do you do to broaden the children's, the children's ideas, so they see that college is for them?
Yeah, we do many things. So I would say the most powerful thing that we do is something that we can't even talk about completely. So I can sit there and tell kids, you can go to college, you can do that, and Michelle can do that too. And that's certainly a message we send to every child that we start working with. Our students start setting foot on a college campus in 5th grade. We do college tours as part of our field trip rotations, and we want the kids to start to spend some time on a college campus and to see a dorm room and to eat in a cafeteria. But the most powerful thing that we have is our alumni network. So we have alum of our program, Michelle being one of them, who are role models for the next generation of Horizon students. And now, when we go on a college tour, which we do with all of our high school students on every public school vacation day, and we do in the summer program, when the bus pulls up to the admissions building, it is most often a Horizons alum who attends that school who takes our kids on that tour. And I think the message of, you know what, I'm here,
Very
I'm
powerful.
Angelica. I grew up in the neighborhood you
Very
grew up in. You know, my mother does similar things that your mother does. I am here, this is my dorm room, these are my friends, really makes our kids think that they too can do it. And I think their belief system changes. And as a result, I think we continue to have success.
Okay. And when you look at the lists of children who want to come, and you can't pick them all, what makes you decide on the ones that come?
It's so hard. I would say it's one of the most difficult parts of our jobs up in the office. So we do look at attendance, and certainly we have we make sure that our families are qualified for free or reduced lunch in their public schools because we are a full scholarship program. We are also told many stories. We have a piece to our application process that is a parent or family piece that is filled out. And then we have a piece to our application that a teacher in a school fills out. And really what we're looking at when we're going through the admissions process is, what would this kid do without Horizons? Right. And our kids have many, many stories. And truly, when you're with them, you forget, because they are so resilient and so happy and so excited to be there. But we have children who might have a mother and a father at home, but they're just working tireless hours to try to make ends meet in Fairfield County. We have kids that might be living with an aging grandparent. We have children that might be facing issues of a parent being incarcerated, or somebody who's sick, or who has passed away. And we know all of these stories at the admissions process, and we're trying to really look for those kids who need us most, so that we can really do the work that we do with them. But it's tricky and it's hard. We also have a sibling policy. So when we have a child get into the program and they might have younger siblings or older siblings, we try to weave them into the fabric of Horizons too, because when we serve families, we really see a big difference in parent involvement or guardian involvement, and also in just losing the older kids to childcare responsibilities at home. I think when you have a second grader and eighth grader, it's very tempting to have the eighth grader take care of the second grader during the summer months. So if we can have the second grader in our Horizons program, we keep the eighth grader in our Horizons program too.
And what special needs do these children have that you try to address?
Many. I would say that the primary need, and I think something that we do really successfully, is we build a community for our kids. And I think many of them really need that and are looking for that. Our Horizons staff, we consider ourselves family to the children that we work with. The kids return summer after summer. We have a 98% retention rate with our kids. We also have about the same retention rate with our staff. So when the kids come off the bus on the first day, which they did this morning, it feels like a family reunion. It's Leah and it's Michelle and it's Eric, and this person taught me how to swim, and this person's worked with me in woodshop, and this person was my art teacher. And we're there with them every step of the way, all the way through, and I think we know them really well. I think we hold them accountable. There's a lot of academic needs, whether it's tutoring or one-on-one help or just small group classes. We really work on trying the kids to feel confident about themselves as learners and to understand themselves as learners. But I think most importantly, to be part of a really positive community that is really rooting for them and really believes
celebrates
in them.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your biggest delight?
You want to talk?
I think today, like the getting off the bus and just all their faces and so excited, you can't even describe what that is like. And I remember as a seventh grader getting off the bus and not knowing people there. And I remember back then, Lynn McNaught knew who I was, knew my name, welcome, come on in, and I'll never forget that feeling of just being welcomed in that like celebration. It's just something you can't even describe to people unless you experience it.
I think my favorite thing, in addition to just being with the students every day, is hearing about their accomplishments. They come running up to you during the day, and you're like, Leah, I got a speaking part in the play, or Leah, I swam in the deep end of the pool for the first time. And we get to share all those milestones, and we make a big deal about those milestones at Horizons. Every Friday, we have a big award ceremony where we celebrate everything, truly everything. We celebrate kind acts, we celebrate finishing books, we celebrate learning to swim, we celebrate being a good team player at PE. And I just think to watch the kids feel so good about themselves and to jump up for their awards and cheer themselves on just motivates us so much in the work that we do.
And what gives you the greatest satisfaction?
So my favorite night, I have two favorite nights at Horizons over the course of the year. I'm fortunate that I get to be there year-round all the time. My first favorite night is when we meet our new kindergartners, when we welcome them into our program after we've gone through the admissions process. And we start out the evening saying, welcome to Horizons, we explain who we are, and we say, in our years of working with children, 100% of our kids graduate from high school and 96% go to college. Welcome, you are part of our work and you are part of our family. I get a standing ovation every single time. And I think with our families and our parents and our guardians, we suddenly see that they believe that it can happen with their children too. And every parent wants what's best for their children. How they get it and the access to it and things is a really difficult road for some families. And so for them to think, help is here. They know what to do, I know what to do, we're all working on this together, we all have the same goals for my children. It's just absolutely unbelievable. My other favorite night, which actually also just happened in June, is when we graduate our seniors off and celebrate where they're going and their next steps. Our high school graduation is unlike any event that you could go to. Michelle's been a speaker there many times. But to have our students get up and to talk about when they started at Horizons and what the program has meant to them, and then to hear about what they're going off to do is just, it's the circle. It's the full circle for us. And we have hundreds of people in the audience, and we have many younger kids watching the older kids. It is just, it's just magical to be part of something that is so positive and so true to its mission.
Mm-hmm. So if you were going to, let's say you were moving to a new area, and you were interested in starting this kind of program, how would you go about it?
Well, in some ways we're fortunate. About 20 years ago, our board that runs Horizons started to wonder if there might be other campuses, independent school campuses is actually what they were thinking at the time, that might join us in this work. And they actually formed a committee, which then formed its own nonprofit, which is Horizons National, which is its own 501c3. And Horizons National is here in Westport, Connecticut. And the primary work that they do is to help identify other schools, colleges, community colleges that want to join us in this work of supporting low-income children in our communities. And we are so lucky. This is summer 2014. It has just launched. And there are 38 Horizons programs across the country, all modeled after our 50-year-old program where Michelle and I are at New Canaan Country School. So I would start with them. But I will say, I've been known to travel to schools and I grab the headmaster or I grab the board president or the board chair, and I like to start by saying, so what do you do on your campus during the summer? To try to get a feel if the campus is empty, which our founder, George Stevens, who was the headmaster at New Canaan Country School in 1963, when he was looking around campus and realized it was vacant, and he said to himself, what a waste. We have acres of playing fields, we have art studios, we have classrooms, we have science labs. We must step up and do something to make a difference for kids in need in our community. And those people are very much out there, and they're very interested in joining us in this work.
So, and what question do you think I should ask you that is something that you want to tell?
Well, I think one thing that Michelle has that's a little bit unique is that Michelle, not only is an alum and as a teacher and as a Horizons administrator, she also has the experience of being a Horizons parent right now, and watching the program through the lens of her kids.
It's very interesting.
And I would definitely want to ask her sort of what that experience is like.
It's really interesting. It's really interesting. Today was our first day, and my son came running up to me, Mom, I passed my deep end test. And he's going into 4th grade, and he really struggled with swimming. And I mean, this was a little boy who wore goggles to take a shower because he didn't like water on him and in his face. And so it's really neat, and he was so excited to go this summer, and they couldn't wait. They couldn't sleep last night, and I'm so proud and happy and privileged and thankful that I can let my children be a part of it and see what magic I got to see back in 1986. And I've seen this program grow from just being a 6-week summer program, not college-bound initially, to what it is today, and it's amazing. The children are so lucky. Those kindergartners, when you sit there and you talk to those kindergartners and you tell them, like, you just came to Horizons and we're here to help you, I can imagine why you get a standing ovation, because I'm sure people just beam,
We have about 5 minutes. So think about what you want to say, because we don't have very much more time.
Well, I often get the question asked to me, why summer? Why is summer such an important time for Horizons to be in session? And it's kind of interesting because in 1964, George Stevens and a group of educators who worked with him to found Horizons, the way they tell the story is they had this campus and they started this program really to keep kids off the streets, is the way they used to phrase it. They act like they they weren't that purposeful in the planning. And yet we know now, 2014, how much they got right out of the gates. They incorporated academics, they added in arts, they added in field trips, they added in swimming. They wove this program together that just wasn't about reading or it wasn't about math, but it was about the whole child and who the whole child is and who they're growing up to be. And in many ways, we haven't changed that much. Like in many ways, we're the same. But what research has sort of caught up with Horizons on is that summer is the month where low-income children begin to slide backwards. In fact, during the school year, whatever school the children are going to, as long as they're attending regularly, they're progressing at low-income kids and middle and upper-income kids, they're progressing at relatively same rates. And then summertime comes, and there's a group of children that have these enriching experiences, and they go to museums, and they read books, and they visit the library, and they go to theater productions. And with low-income children, there's often a fear of childcare in the summer, and they just don't have the opportunities because they're expensive. And so we come in as a Horizons program, and we offer those type of experiences to the kids that our kids just have a gap with. And what we find is we eliminate that summer slide. And as we do that year after year, our kids begin to catch up, and they begin to stay up. And they begin to see themselves as learners and as readers and as mathematicians and as scientists. And so we're proud of that work. We hope that others identify the need, and whether it's Horizons or another program that offers something in the summer, that they begin to look at how much opportunity there is in those summer months to really be able to work with kids and help build their skills.
Well, I have to tell you that we're at the end of our session, and I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it.
Thank you for having us.
I would really like to thank you both.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been such a
Because
pleasure.
it's been a joy, and there's a good reason why I admire you. And I would like to speak to our audience and thank them for joining us too. Good night.
Good night.